What's going on? It's your man, Mr. Controversy, representing the 3-point conversion. Did you miss me? Yes, this is my NFL diary. We just finished the Super Bowl. Man, I'm like a fat kid that couldn't get no cake at the bakery. I'm sick right now. This is the end of the season. I mean, of course, you got the combine, got the NFL draft, pro day, got all that stuff, but still, it's not the same. You know, we won't see any live action. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Super Bowl. It was a great game. I'm gonna get into that later. First off, I want to thank everybody who's listening in live, who's listening in to the podcast. I definitely appreciate you. Yes, this is the last show for the season. Unless something crazy happened, I might just have to break out and do another show. But other than that, this is the last show. It was a great season, a great show. We'll be back next year, of course. So let me get to the show tonight. So I'm talking about, first of all, about Beast Mode. How he's just said he's going to retire. Talking about him and other players that has retired or thinking about retiring. Also, I want to talk about the Super Bowl, of course, the game in itself. I want to talk about certain key points in that game. I also want to break down the difference between fixed and playing against the league. Of course, I'm going to have to talk about Cam, that situation, and I'm going to have to give my Peyton salute. You know, this might be his last game, so I definitely want to give my salute. So let's go ahead and get this started right now. If you're listening through the YouTube or you're watching through YouTube, you know I play my music. Also, make sure you all download the Spreaker app, Spreaker, the app. Then you can follow the 3-point conversion station, and you'll get to hear the other great podcasts on the station. So let's go ahead and get it rocking. Let's go. Man. Can't believe this is the last show. I can't believe football is over for this season. Wow. All right, I'm going to start off like this. So, Beast Mode, he comes out last night on Twitter during the Super Bowl, throws up the peace sign, and have his cleats hanging. I used to love Beast Mode. That was one of my favorite running backs. Hard runner, smart runner. He didn't get a lot of credit for being smart, but he's a smart dude, not just on the field, but off the field. I'm going to get to that later. But on the field, he might have been the hardest running back to be tackled in the game. Well, I know he was, even harder than Adrian Peterson. Something tells me he might be the hardest to ever tackle. When I mean the hardest, I'm not talking, of course you got Barry and people who's juking. I'm just saying, like, you straight up, you got your arms around him and trying to bring him down. I mean, you got players like Earl Campbell, Riggins, Zonka, Allstott. Forgot about Allstott. I mean, you got some great players, man. You know, I can't list them all, but some beasts. But I think Beast Mode might be the best at that, man. I mean, I've never seen a running back that size, with great balance like he has. So, shout out to Beast Mode. But I want to stick on this topic because I want to talk about how, you have Beast Mode. Then you got Megatron. He's contemplating retirement. We already saw Patrick Willis. I mean, we saw half the 49ers defensive team retire. So I don't think you can blame them because, like I said, bringing it back to Beast Mode being smart off the field, I mean, especially with Beast Mode, he's won a Super Bowl. Right now, at least he's healthy. We've learned a lot about the CTE. But, again, he's healthy right now. Has money. Heard about him not spending his last contract money. Smart. So he's leaving the game without any significant injuries, which is smart. Megatron as well. But I guess the difference between Beast Mode and Megatron, I know Patrick Willis was hurt like almost every year, so I kind of felt him. But was it Chris Borland, other players? They haven't even sniffed a Super Bowl. And I'm not blaming them for leaving. You know, like I said, that's on you. If you don't want to risk injury, that's a smart move. But something inside me wants to question their love of the game. Now, is their health more important than the love of the game? Of course. But I can tell you, Jerry Rice, I can't see Jerry Rice saying, you know what, I'm going to hang it up because of injury. I can't see that. As much as Montana was hurt and fragile, and of course he came out this week talking about how he got a bad knee, his neck hurt, ribs, got a wandering eye. Bugging with that wandering eye. But even with that, you know, he played till he was old. He couldn't quit. Elway chased that championship. Of course, we know about Favre. I mean, you had a lot of players that played until they couldn't play anymore. T.O. still trying to get in the league. The love of the game was real. Then you had some players who were injured and couldn't finish. So I guess the Borlands and the Beast Modes and the Calvin Johnsons, they are, you know, they're saying, hey, I don't want to be like that guy, which is understandable. I get that, and I'm not mad at that. And I wish them well, but something inside me just wants to question the love of the game. Like I said, Beast Mode, he won a Super Bowl. I might give him a pass. But Megatron, come on, man. It's not like you had a significant injury like that. You had always had nagging injuries. Patrick Willis, you had a lot of injuries. Yeah. Chris Borland, I mean, maybe he didn't get to taste the game. You know, that's why he was able to retire. So, okay. But I'm just saying, I don't know. I wonder if I'm wrong for that. You all let me know. All right. So we got to move on to the Super Bowl. I thought it was I thought it was a good game. I won't say well played, but it was a good game. And maybe because I'm from Chicago, I love defense. I'd rather watch a game like that than watch a 45-38 game. That's too much scoring. I don't like stuff like that. But anyway, defensive battle. Both defenses came to play. And the funny thing is, when we talk about the keys to the game, which I gave last week, and even on the show, the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, make sure y'all check that out on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. I told y'all, I picked Carolina, but I said for Denver, in order for Denver to win, they have to get to Cam, stop the run. And I said stopping the run, the running game for Carolina is going to be the most important of the game. If they do, they control the running game, they win. If they don't, it's going to be tough. Why? Because now they get predictable as far as 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 7. So you know they're passing, and then you unleash them horses, it's a wrap. And like I said, I go back to the keys to the game. And I also said that Denver would score. I said, Denver needs to score on defense, which they did. Even though I picked Carolina, all that came to fruition, all that came true. But this is my thing. That dude, Von Miller, is a beast, man. It's even Ware is a beast, but Von Miller, it's funny because I hadn't seen nobody, and they compared him to him. We always talk about Lawrence Taylor. It'll never be another Lawrence Taylor. But then you think about Derek Thomas. And honestly, to me, I might get a stop it, but think about what I'm saying. Lawrence is as crazy as Lawrence Taylor was, I always think Derek Thomas was a better pass rusher. I think Lawrence Taylor was a better football player, but Derek Thomas was a better pass rusher. Von Miller looks just like Derek Thomas, and he looks unstoppable. But speaking of unstoppable, this dude, Khalid, whatever his name is, Talib. When I say unstoppable, I'm talking about how dumb he is. Come on, man. Like, why are you drawing with the player a third option receiver? Like, he was the third option, third or fourth option. Nobody thinking about him. He wasn't even in the play. And you drawing with him? Like, really? Then the face mask. Then offsides. It should have been called twice. But like I say, man, it's a shame that you got players like that, man, on great squads. And he's a great talent. But come on, man, think. So hopefully that rule gets passed next year as far as you get two personal fouls, you're out of the game, because he should have been out that game as careless as he was playing. But we got to talk about the most important play of the game. It happened in the first quarter. Carolina's, was it their second drive? When Carolina had a pass to Cotchery. And he was tipping the ball to himself. He dropped it, and they looked at it. It was a catch. We saw it. Mike Carey said it was a catch. It was a catch. But the referees came back and said it was not a catch. The funny thing about that is the very next play, that's when they got the fumble recovery for a touchdown. So, which makes me think about what people are saying, this game was fixed. You know, people were saying that before the game. I think that was just their excuse. If Cam and Carolina didn't win, that was the excuse. But they said that it was fixed. I think it's nonsense because both teams played hard. And Josh Norman came out and said that it's hard to play against two teams. Of course, he was referencing the Denver Broncos and the referees. So what's the difference between a game that's fixed and playing against the league? When it's fixed, of course, we know everybody's involved. I pray to God we don't have many games or have any games that's fixed. I mean, maybe that's just basketball, college basketball at that. But I don't think that game was fixed. Because, like I said, you saw the emotion from the Carolina players after the game. You saw Josh Norman in tears crying. Now, some might say, he was crying because he was getting that check. No, I don't think so. But, still, like I said, Denver made too many games. Made too many bad plays. But true, you can have games where it's fixed to where it looks like it's not fixed. But I don't think that was the case. But they were playing against the league because the league wanted to see Peyton ride off in the sunset. I mean, why not? I don't get it. I mean, I would too. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. You got the greatest football player, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, and he gets to win his 200 game, which would be the most in history. Then he wins the Super Bowl. Right. So they was playing against the league because the league wanted to win. So any close call was going to Denver. When you don't have a penalty in the second half, you're playing against the league. But it's okay because that happens in football. That happens in football. That's a normal thing in football. So, which means you just have to play harder. But Carolina didn't come to play. They didn't come up. Kotcher was dropping passes. Ted Ginn was dropping passes. The only guy that came to play was Corey Brown, and he got injured, which was a big key to Carolina's offense because it seemed like that was one guy they couldn't stop. That was going up to make plays. That was jumping for the ball. You know, getting extra yards. I mean, wow. So with that game, I don't think it was fixed. They was playing against the league and Denver Broncos. But I want to get on Cam for a minute. Actually, you know what? Before we get on Cam, I'm going to take a quick break. Just a quick break. Commercial break. We'll be right back. All right. We are back inside a 3-point conversion station on Mr. Controversy's NFL Diary. So Cam Newton. I don't think Cam Newton played a bad game. I think he played all right. I mean, he didn't play his best game. I mean, actually, Cam was out the ordinary. I mean, he played out the ordinary. Like, you don't see Cam take off running outside the pocket like that on a design pass play. But he did that twice, 2 or 3 times, and got some great yardage too. But you could tell he was uncomfortable. Man, defense, the defense of Denver, boy, it was crazy. Wade Phillips has to get props. Great game, great call game. But still, back to Cam. Couldn't do anything. I mean, after Corey Brown was out, who else was he going to throw to? Who was getting open? And then once they were open, they were dropping passes. Hence the interception. And then with Tolbert fumbling, I don't understand why Rivera kept Tolbert in the game. Dog, you fumbled twice. This is the Super Bowl. You're not coming back in the game. You stand by me the whole game. You're not coming in. Hold the clipboard while you at it. But I have to get on camera about that fumble, the last fumble when he didn't dive for the ball. That was kind of suspect, sir. Very. I don't know what that was about. That had me scratching my head right there. But I let it go. Because the post game. See, Cam, you brought this animal up, and I was glad you brought it up. You talked about why everybody judge you the way they do. And you got the elephant in the room, held him up, and basically threw him out the door because you said why you would judge the way you are. So, which means after a game that you lose, and you're going to lose some. That's just inevitable. You're not – Michael Jordan lost He might not have lost the final, but he lost. I mean, it just happens. But Cam, you lose. And yes, we saw you smiling at the end of the game, talking to Peyton Manning, which they don't want to give a lot of press to, but you did. So we give you that. But the press conference, man, I understand you're hurt. I understand you're upset. This is your first Super Bowl. You have a right to be. I'm not saying you can't be upset. Steve McNair lost his first Super Bowl. But Steve McNair went to the press conference like a grown man and talked. Jay Delhomme lost his first Super Bowl appearance. He talked to the press. And you did come to the press conference and talk, but the way you were acting, man, your vibe, just no, don't know. I don't, come on, man. You're a grown man. And I know you still have some maturity to catch up to, but still, you're a grown man, Cam. You can't do that, man. Nah, Cam, come on, baby. I know you upset, but I'd rather you not come to the stage instead of doing something like that. But yet still, everybody has to understand, what would you feel like losing the game, the biggest game in sports, and you lose, and you were favored? What you gonna do? I mean, I understand he was upset. And then, the speculation that he heard Chris Harris talking behind him. Like, I don't understand why he was being interviewed like that. You're the MVP of the league. You're being interviewed at the same time somebody else is getting interviewed from the opposing team. And it looked like he was listening. That could be true. I don't like that, but oh well. But still, he says, I'm done in the league. And everybody want to jump on Cam Newton. But at the same time, man, you got to think about it. Tom Brady has done the same thing. Storm the locker room. Storm out the press conference. Peyton Manning, the first Super Bowl, I don't even think he went and shook Drew Brees' hand. I think he just left. There's been lots of players left and just left out during the middle of the press conference. So don't try to act like Cam is the only one and it's such a big deal that he did it. Yes, he brought it on himself because he's always celebrating, which I didn't get why most of the players, Carolina players during the game, every time somebody from Denver celebrate, whether it was Manuel Sanders or somebody else, they got upset and started pushing them. This is the same team that did it the whole year. Carolina act like some spoiled brats. But anyway, so I don't like the fact that you all are getting on Cam like that just because it's Cam Newton. And then Bill Romanowski, that prick, racist prick. And you know what? I'm going to call him racist, but Bill Romanowski's so screwed up in the head. That joker racist. He's an idiot. This same dude that spit on somebody, pulling helmets off of players during the game, getting into fights with his own teammates. Prick. And if you didn't hear it, yes, he said Cam. I forgot what he said. But he called him a boy at the end. Then he tried to play it off, say he didn't mean it like that. Stop it. But we all know now the floodgates is open. It's time for the naysayers to come out. You're going to see what everybody feel, and their real true feelings. It's coming out. If you haven't seen them already, it's going to come out. So, Cam, hopefully you learn from this. Carolina, hopefully you learn from this. Come back next year, play even better. But I have to end this with my Peyton Manning. I have to talk about Peyton Manning, y'all. I have to give my salute. And Peyton Manning, this is a quarterback that from the first time I saw him play in the NFL, like I didn't like him in Tennessee, but when he was in Indy, instantly became my favorite quarterback at that time. I was a big fan of Peyton Manning. Love Peyton Manning. You know, everything he did for the game. Like I said, he's the one that first started the audible. You know, who was audible in back then like he was. You know, I don't know if you all heard yesterday, he cracked me up. And it was at the end of the game, but he was, you know how he say, Omaha, Omaha. Well, he was like, Omaha Hut. Not Omaha, but Omaha Hut. I love Peyton Manning. But, I mean, you talk about somebody, man, who prepared for a game like no other, who practiced, who was prepared, who was coached up, who was coaching, who knew the offense in and out, who ran a defense like no other. And I gotta make this song cry. I'm sorry. I gotta, because I'm feeling, this is my feelings on Peyton. You know what I'm saying? Well, Miss Peyton, man, like I said, I didn't root for him in the Super Bowl, but I gotta make the song hit home how I'm feeling. So then the fact that Peyton, besides that horrible neck injury, he didn't miss games. He was your warrior. He might not have got sacked a lot of times. Okay, he did. He had a great offensive line. I ain't gonna lie, but still was a warrior. Still dusted himself off, got up, played a Lex play like you never played before. You know, a quarterback that made every running back better than what they really were. Now, Edgerrin James was a beast. I'm not saying he wasn't, but look what he did under Peyton. Marshall Faulk, I mean, well, I ain't going to give that credit to Peyton because Peyton said Marshall Faulk taught him. But Joseph Adai, stop it. He's out the league when Peyton got hurt. The running back from Denver, each one of them. What happened to Monte Ball? Exactly. I'm just saying, man, just like I said, a great innovator, great quarterback, great teacher, a classy guy, funny guy. When you think of a quarterback, that's what you want a quarterback in the NFL to be. Someone who knows how to talk in front of people. Not trying to diss anyone, but Montana couldn't do that. Who was clutch. Yes, he was clutch during the regular season, but he was clutch. He was clutch. But just a competitor, man. You know, times when I think about when it was like 4th and 8 in the playoffs, and Tony Dungy was like, we're going to punt. And he's waving Tony Dungy and the special teams to go back to the sidelines. Like I said, man, I salute you, Peyton, man. Hey, man, I enjoyed every moment of it. You were great for the league. The league wouldn't be where it is now without you. All of these young quarterbacks dream of being you. Wish you much success, sir. Yes, and I'll end it like that. But I have to say, I appreciate every one of you again for actually just supporting me, man, for listening to all you all that listen to every show. Some of you all listen to one show. I appreciate you. I appreciate Sharon Beats for the music. I appreciate the criticism, good or bad. Glass said Peyton played like crap. He didn't play that bad, man. He did all right. He did better than what I thought he was going to do. But anyway, this is the last show of the season, unless something drastic happened. It was fun. It was a great season. The league is in great hands. We saw a great rookie step up. Saw a young player step up. We saw a team step up. Shouts out to Carolina again. The way Kansas City battled back. 11-game winning streak. Crazy. Tom Brady showing that he's the man. Just a great year, man. It was a great year. A lot of excitement. My Super Bowl predictions next year, I'm going to do it now. I know it don't count. It's early, but I'm going to do it for fun. I have Pittsburgh Steelers going up against I don't know. Actually, you know what? I got Pittsburgh Steelers going up against Carolina again. Pittsburgh wins again. So until then, see y'all next year. Same show, same time, same person. I'm out. Peace. Will you miss me? For real, will you? I really want to know. I'm out.